dâng cao, ai cây thành hoen ố máu tươi dần. Việt Nam ơi, mẹ tan thay vì con hư, bồi non sông dành đất nước đi giết dốc nổi đem xóa quốc hồn Việt Nam. Ngoài linh này còn đâu mẹ ơi, ôi giờ đây không nói nên ngàn năm xây đất nước phút giây tàn rồi. Chiều ánh mắt dại khờ, chiều cánh tay buông hờ, chiều trái tim thân thờ, nhìn quê đau đớn nước mắt dân đại dương. Người ra khơi tàu con đi vượt sóng gió, đem sinh bằng đôi chiếu đôi tay tự thuận. Trùng dương ơi, dù gian nguy, dù đói khát, dù cướp bóc, dù chết mất, xin đã lấy người hoặc đón xác người liều thân xây tương lai tự do ngàn sau. Trên đồi cao xa vắng, heo mây xót thương người viên sư, và sương nhẹ êm ve vuốt xoa xoa cho vơi bớt đau buồn. Ngày tháng chìm trong đắng cay đời ta, nay càng thêm xót xa. Ước mơ theo gió bay mau tới quê nhà, tìm lại hàng tre gục lên mái nhà, tìm dần trầu lá còn cuốn cao ra, và hàng dừa mát là bóng ven hồ, về nơi thơm mặn nồng, về nơi dấu ái ngọt ngào, tìm hạt thông reo, tìm ngày thơ ôm mơ sao diêu. Mẹ dù em ai đêm đêm ôm mẹ hiền yêu dấu, người mơ ngày mai tươi sáng, quê hương tan hết áng mây sầu. Ngày đó toàn dân hát vang bài ca, đây tự do thiết tha, nước ta nay hết thương đau luôn an hòa. Và lời của cha ngày xa cõi đời, dặn dặn hồn nước cùng khí nơi nơi, dẹp mong ta hợp sức chu toàn, một nền dân chủ mới rạng đời, toàn dân vui hát ngàn đời, đời tự do muôn vinh quang.
Thank you, Mr. Mangha, for such a wonderful performance. Now, please turn your attention once again to the screens. In April 1975, with the fall of Saigon imminent, the U.S. Navy sent more than 40 ships to help evacuate South Vietnamese refugees. During the 2 days Operation Frequent Wind, the USS Midway rescued more than 3,000 Vietnamese citizens and American officials. And some of those individuals who were saved by Midway are back on this flight deck 50 years later, commemorating with us today. This is the incredible story of courage, selflessness during one of the largest humanitarian operations in history.
The communist forces, some of them riding in Russian-made tanks, some in captured American jeeps, rolled into Saigon about 3.5 hours after the end of the dramatic American evacuation of U.S. nationals and many South Vietnamese.
April 1975. South Vietnam is collapsing. At this pivotal point in history, Midway's commanding officer, Captain Larry Chambers, embarks upon the most storied humanitarian mission in Navy history, Operation Frequent Wind, the evacuation of Saigon.
We were heading for Vietnam and all shafts were turning at max speed. We got off the southern tip of Vietnam, picked up these big HH-53s.
There was little time for preparation and no margin for error.
It was just to control chaos. You've got old folk, young folks, you've got little kids, babe in arms.
I was 8 years old when I left my country, Vietnam. It was just chaos everywhere. We were told that they were going to shut down the airport because of the constant bombings, and only people with proper documentation were allowed to leave. My aunt was the only one that had the paperwork. She actually went up to one of the US soldiers at the gate and pleaded with him, and he asked, well, how many are there in total? And when my aunt replied 16, he said, well, I'm so sorry, but that's probably going to be impossible. And so he finally gave in. He said, okay, this is what you'll do. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. in the morning, get in line where you have to show the paperwork, but tell your sister's family to keep walking and don't stop. The next morning, he was there, and with his hand motioning for us to pass on through, I just remembered when we finally landed on the Midway, and I thought, okay, we're safe.
Courtney and her family found themselves among the fortunate ones. However, for Captain Chambers and his crew aboard the Midway, their mission was far from complete.
The crew was handling the people. They got them all down on the hangar deck. 250 people came on, each one at a time. Not strapped down, cargo net, desperate times, and we're working.
Throughout the night and into the next day, Midway recovered aircraft and saved lives. Suddenly, a small Cessna buzzed the bridge.
And he dropped a note on the deck. He wrapped the note around his pistol and he dropped his pistol on deck, and it said what the hell I thought it was going to say. He said, can you move those helicopters? I can fly 1 hour more, and please rescue me. He said he had Major Lee, wife, and 5 child, so now we knew there were 7 souls on board. The Admiral was still yelling at me to tell him to ditch. No way is this guy going to ditch. I mean, it's wheels. It's going to flip over, and the family's going to drown. I called the Air Boss and said, we're going to make a ready deck.
Low on fuel, Major Bung Lee and family had found the Midway, but there was no room to land, yet.
I got on the general announcing system, and the next thing I know, somewhere around 2,000 people showed up on the flight deck to help the Air Boss make a ready deck. I turned around and didn't look, because I didn't want to see how much went over the side, because from that point on, I knew that I'm going to have to face the board, and I could honestly say with the lie detector test, I don't know how many we pushed over the side. Well, we got the deck clear, and then 8 more Hueys landed in the middle of the landing area. The Air Boss called and said, what the hell are we going to do now? And I said, look, it's my court martial. I'm already in deep. 8 more Hueys over the side. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference.
Above Midway, Major Lee is circling, engine sputtering in a stiff and challenging wind.
After we pushed the last few over the side, gave him a green light to come on around and land, he was going to have to fight his way through the turbulence. Turns out he had somewhere around 8,000 hours in the airplane. The guy was very professional. They brought him up to the bridge, and I took my wings off, and I made him an honorary naval aviator right on the spot.
Major Lee and his family were 7 of more than 50,000 people rescued in the final days of the Vietnam War, many of them by the Midway.
If I was not on the Midway, I would not be standing here today to have the opportunity to be a mother, to be a wife, to be a volunteer in my community. I'm giving back to community because that's what we should do. We should spread kindness, spread love, because we need that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my true honor to stand here to introduce Admiral Chambers. But he is a man who needs no introduction, as you can tell. Born in 1929 in Bedford, Virginia, as the middle child of 5, he graduated from his high school as a valedictorian. Yes, he deserves all of that. After being accepted to every university he applied to, thankfully, he accepted the challenge of being only the second African American to attend the U.S. Naval Academy. Life was difficult, but he persisted, graduated, and would go on to a career that spans 4 decades, ultimately rising to the rank of Rear Admiral, the first African American to do so in U.S. Navy. Admiral, we are so grateful for your courage, service, and sacrifice at every step of the way. Here to give his story of Operation Frequent Wind at 95 years young, please rise for Admiral Larry Chambers.
Good afternoon. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. I was a skipper of Midway during the evacuation of Saigon, and I'm just an old sailor, 96 years old. I'm here today with my wife and family, lots of friends, to share this special anniversary which evokes so many complex memories and emotions for all of us. I have to tell you, ever since Midway scheduled this event years ago, my wife's main purpose in life has been to keep me alive for this day, so I can stand up here and tell you this story. Let's hope she can find another reason to keep me alive after the day. I'm not quite ready to go, guys.